Dr. Marianne Mercer. Welcome to my Positive Life Answers podcast. I'm your podcast host and self-improvement expert, Dr. Marianne Mercer, and you can call me Dr. Mary, as many people do. Welcome to episode 16, The Magic Power of Journaling and More. In my Positive Life Answers podcast, my goal is to help you transform the quality of your life and help you create the life you desire. Overall, the goal of this podcast is to help you make improvements and changes in practical and empowering ways. So let's create the best life ever. If you are new and just discovered my podcast, a warm welcome. I'm so glad you found me. Don't forget to follow the podcast so you don't miss out on future episodes. So remember to hit that follow button on whatever podcast platform you're listening to me on. And a big thank you for those who are continuing to listen to this podcast and are supporting my podcast. And I appreciate your questions and comments. It really lets me know that you're out there listening. So overall, please don't keep me a secret and share with somebody who would benefit from these podcasts. Today, I would like to talk to you about some questions and comments from my most recent podcast episode listeners. These questions help me focus on today's podcast topic of journaling and what I call being lucky, or what others have called in their books they call the luck factor. Some have asked me, why do I need to write down in a notebook or journal? Some keep asking me, why do I need to write down my thoughts in a notebook or journal? That's a lot of work. Can I just listen and think about it? Well, you can. It's up to you. That still puts you light years ahead of people who don't reflect on their lives. However, it's really important to write down your thoughts, and we'll get into that today. Some others wrote me and called me lucky regarding my life and my successes. Let me share today with you some things about, 1, why I am lucky, 2, what I observe from the comments and what it really means about the person reacting, and what I call inspirational satisfaction. And then 3, why do we need to write things down when doing this self-improvement work? So these are the items I'll cover in this podcast today. So a little bit of background on me, because some of the listeners want to hear a little bit more about that. So since my early teens, I've felt a calling to help people. Given many obstacles and times in my life, I've learned to become a resilient and upbeat person. Importantly, in college, I met my first mentor, Dr. Stan Martindale. I worked as his research assistant at the university. Dr. Martindale made a great impact on my life, and these role models were really important in my life and in my work. He guided me to successfully reaching my goals in my life and career. I met Dr. Martindale via my older brother, Joe. My brother encouraged me and influenced and guided me on my career path in many aspects of my life. They both have greatly helped me on my path in life. I'm grateful to both of them. My brother Joe and I were the first family members to go further, than any others in our family. We were the first ones to go to college and the only ones to complete our doctoral degree in psychology. Despite many obstacles, we kept our eye on our heartfelt vision for our lives and worked hard to complete it. In my speeches and books, I tell my story. Here's the reasons others view me as lucky, which is kind of a misconception. Here's the story of my life I call it the Victoria story. You may have heard this in an earlier podcast episode, but today it helps me illustrate an important point to your comments and questions. So here's the story. Throughout her life, people continually called Victoria names. As a baby, Victoria fell down a basement flight of stairs and was injured. Physicians told Victoria's parents that she was slightly damaged. Throughout grammar school, Victoria had a lot of difficulty with learning and academics. Victoria teachers called her parents and told them she was, quote, slow, end of quote. And yes, they did call people slow during that time. The teachers even put Victoria in a, quote, slow learning group. And yes, that's what they called it at that time. Victoria felt humiliated. Plus, she also fell behind academically throughout grammar school. In high school, Victoria had difficulty with academics as well. Starting freshman year, she began hanging around with some popular students who were also a bit of what we call troublemakers. Her teachers called her parents and said Victoria was troubled. Victoria would hang around what she thought was cool students, but it contributed to her getting into some trouble. In her senior year of high school, Victoria met a teacher who somehow felt the potential in Victoria and gently encouraged and helped her become more interested in learning. She felt that Victoria was really a good person in her heart, but was just a little confused at the time. This teacher was incredibly supportive and gave Victoria creative assignments at first, and gradually more challenging ones, and they often talked after class. Victoria became excited about the assignments given to her and worked hard on them. She and her teacher were proud of her work. Her teacher really was an optimistic role model and encouraged her. After meeting with her teacher for a while, Victoria decided maybe she wanted to go to college because she started getting excited about the opportunity to learn. Later in meeting with her guidance counselor, the counselor said to her, "You're not college material, and with your grades and student ranking, no four-year college will accept you." Victoria's heart sunk, and she quickly left the office in tears. To this day, quite a few years later, people still call Victoria names. Today, they continually call her Dr. Mary Ann Victoria Mercer. And yes, that is me, folks. As explained in my life story and background, I remained an optimistic person deep down in my heart, and I really had a vision for my life. I often dreamed of a better life than what my grandparents and parents experienced. Although they were a loving family, life was a struggle and a labor for them. I loved my parents and grandparents, but I did not want to live a life full of struggles, labor, and lack. I promised myself a successful, enjoyable, and a possibly amazing life up ahead of me. I would often daydream about it and watch programs that played on TV and played events my family could not afford to attend, such as TV ballet performances and plays. Some people called me a dreamer and even laughed at me. Can you imagine adults laughing at me? I was not a daydreamer. I was already visualizing my new life, my vision that I had for my future. Hard work and persistence is what paid off. Hard work and persistence is what I want to talk with you about, following up with the Victoria story I just shared. Someone asked us, how could you have gone from being called all those labels, going to college all of a sudden? How did that leap happen? Well, I decided after leaving that office of the guidance counselor in high school that I would work on getting into a junior college and getting some help. My mom also came up with the idea and encouraged me to do this, and we worked on that together. Once I got into a junior college, I worked hard in getting my grades up. And after a year of getting my grades up and also getting on the dean's list, I was successful. And I reapplied to other university and four-year colleges. My hard work paid off. I was accepted to a four-year university, and the rest is history. So yes, I had a vision, but I also worked at it. I did not give up. I made a plan, followed up, worked hard, and my luck was that I worked hard to prove myself and was able to get into university. So what are the characteristic traits of successfully accomplishing visions and goals for many people's life? What are the characteristics? An optimistic person and someone like myself, who I just illustrated in the Victoria story, who overcome obstacles to build a successful business and personal life, displays the following traits. This is illustrated in my story. So people who are successful, they possess 1, a clear vision of an exciting and meaningful life. 2, during times of roadblocks and challenges, they keep an eye on their vision, the end results, and they keep working to get at it. Next, they work on goals to help them progress to their exciting vision. And lastly, as I did, they have a can-do attitude and take high levels of self-responsibility for their life. These traits in myself and people that I work with in my intensive coaching sessions, these traits, along with hard work, became, quote, my luck. And I just want to illustrate that to you. Nothing was ever handed to me. It was all about working and being precision focused in my vision. And I'm not upset that those questions were asked of me. I think that's great, because this way I can help you really understand what the process is. Someone also asked me, do you still write down your goals and vision or journal? And I said, yes, I do. So I want to share with you, yes, I do write down my goals and my vision. I started this year with a new vision poster, and I created the supporting goals to move me toward that vision. And the magic of this kind of hard work is that I already started manifesting, or in the process of manifesting, some of my goals and vision for my life for this year. Let me go back to journaling, because that's really the main topic as well today. A little background. In my teens, I began writing what I called, at that time, was a diary. I found it to be like a friend where I can share my thoughts and feelings without judgment. My teen years were a challenge just like they are for everyone else, trying to figure out who we are and where we're heading in life. Writing in my journal became a habit. I would write on almost a daily basis. It was a way to sort out things that happened in my life along with my reactions and feelings. I did that at night before going to bed and found that it helped me unwind and settle into a peaceful sleep. I can just write my thoughts down and feelings, close that book, and let it go. And I would just have a wonderful night's sleep. I discovered this early in my life, and I continued writing as I became an adult. Writing my diary, or what we call journals now, helped me cope with challenges and difficult times so much that I started using this technique many years ago, early in my career as a psychologist and therapist. Not long ago in my life, I moved. It was a major move for my husband and myself. So while packing and unpacking in our new home, I found a diary that I have not read in many years. It was amazing to read and observe life through the eyes of a young teen. So this was part of a journal that was from my high school years. It was so much fun to read, and it was so eye-opening for me. What a gift it was to experience. And that can happen for you too if you keep your journals. How did journaling help heal mentally, emotionally, and spiritually for people? Is another question I got. In my experience, I believe that writing in my journal, as well as observing my clients' benefits of writing in their journals, creates a great sense of hope and also sense of control over their lives. As I revealed in my Victoria story today, I faced these challenges and more in my life. Journaling was a tool that helped me grow and heal emotionally and spiritually. It helped me become stronger. I felt like I was getting stronger and growing in my resilience and optimism in life. Now, as a psychologist and researcher for my self-improvement and self-help books, I discovered that writing in a journal creates positive changes on physical, psychological, and emotional level. And self-compassion and gratitude is a major benefit of journaling. I found that discovering the power of gratitude in my daily routine of journaling was healing. I discovered that while writing about the events of the day, my reactions and my feelings only took me so far. Yes, they were beneficial in helping me sort out what I was feeling, thinking, and where I needed to go, and there was benefits to that. But adding a section at the end of the journaling, whatever day I was doing that, which I'll share next, contributed to my sense of mindfulness and spiritual growth. So what kind of content should go in your journal? You're probably asking. I know a lot of therapists, podcasters, and more motivational speakers say you should journal, but they don't give you enough guidance as to what to do. I mean, you can write in your journal and basically just start moaning, complaining, and bitching about life and putting yourself in a tizzy and a spin, and that's not productive for you. So as a psychologist and author, I created some ways to effectively journal, and I found that therapists often suggest keeping a journal in which you write down your feelings, but my personal and professional experience shows that this sort of journaling is too vague and not focused enough to help you move into a more optimistic problem-solving mode. So I developed some concrete journaling methods that prove helpful in providing a sense of direction for you. So listen up. I have found in my practice that journaling by reflecting on your day along with your end focus on what you feel grateful for each day has helped many of my intensive coaching clients. And here's what you can do without having to, come and see me for intensive coaching. This is important to do. So here's how you can do it. Before going to bed, write in your journal. If you can't write every day, just try to write 2-3 times a week. Each journal entry should have the following. And listen up here. It should have your day's positive events or things that happened and negative events in your day or things that have happened. That's number 1. So list your day's positive events and negative events. And 2, what actions you took that resulted in your day's positive events. And then number 3, and importantly, without judgment, things you can do differently to rid your life or get rid of some of those negative events or outcomes in your life. And then ending with number 4, things you feel grateful for, plus actions or events that contributed to you feeling grateful that you're alive. I recommend you end your journal entry by focusing your thoughts on things or people you feel grateful for. Your focus on gratefulness is an instant mood lifter and instills hopefulness and inspiration. And isn't that a great way to fall asleep at night? Psychological research, which I live and have been part of in the American Psychological Association, given I'm a psychologist, and have done the research. That shows that journaling reduces stress and increases happiness. Keeping a daily journal is the best by using this outline that I just taught you just now, but I'm going to repeat this because listening to it on a podcast is different than reading it from a book. But if you desire, you can get my book, Bouncing Back from Difficult Times, or Spontaneous Optimism, which has a section on this journaling method. And you can get that at my website, positivelifeanswers.com, directly from me, and I'll even autograph the book to you. So when you journal, and I'd like you to do that 2-3 times a week, if not possible every day. So journal about your day's, number 1, positive events, your actions that led to your positive events that happened that day. Next, number 2, your day's negative or challenging events of the day, and what actions you can take to get rid of or cut back on those negative events in your life. And 3, what you feel grateful for today and the power of gratitude. Those are really important things. So make sure you follow that kind of outline. Positive events, negative events, what you can do to increase positive events, what you can do to resolve those negative events, and what you feel grateful for today. How do you gain a different perspective on life and your emotions while writing in your journal? It was one of another questions that were asked of me, and I love these questions, so thank you. This helps me become more precise in these podcast episodes. So I believe that when you journal, following the suggestions I have made for you today, you'll become more open and honest in your writings. When you write, I recommend you take a little break after a few minutes and read what you have written. Or you can look back on some of your journal entries from the week and see how that went for you. Reviewing your journal entries, I feel, makes a shift in your perspective. Because when you read what you wrote, you can't deny your thoughts and your feelings. And it shifts your perspective while you're reading and reviewing them. This shift takes place over a period of time when you make a commitment to journal on a regular basis. For example, you can observe if you're being honest about your feelings, emotions, or behavior, or whether you are stuck in the nature of blaming others for your troubles all the time. Blaming yourself or blaming others is one thing that gets you hung up in your journaling. That's why I ask you these questions, so you can move along and not stay stuck into moaning, complaining, and just bitching about what's going on in your life. So allow journaling to move you along and explore your thoughts, feelings, and reactions to everything that happens in your life on a daily basis. I have found without this type of journaling approach, a little more guidance, my clients did not benefit as much as they can from the process. So this is why I perfected more of this process for my clients and intensive coaching clients. As I mentioned earlier, writing in my diary or journal helped me cope with challenging times, or difficult times. That I started using this method early in my career as a therapist. I took my experience and began to take it a step further to help my clients in a more directional, empowering, and helpful manner. I want to share with you a little more of an example. We covered this a little bit before, but here's an example of some very common problems that I observed in clients over the years, and those who are upset and depressed. And those depressed and upset clients experience what I felt was blaming others or themselves for their problems. So it's a very common pattern that keeps you stuck or anchored into not moving ahead in your life. When I have a client journal, I found that they need direction to help resolve this giddy anger of blaming, whether it's blaming themselves or others for not moving ahead in their lives. And we gave some examples recently of people who are stuck in blame. I have some steps that I want to review again here that I created when needing to write in the journal. It's an example of how to journal when you find yourself constantly blaming yourself or others for something that happened or is happening in your life. On that journal page, you list the name of the person you blame for some of your current woes, whether it's someone else or yourself. Next, actions that person took that bothered you, and then your feelings about those upsetting or distasteful actions. And then look yourself in the eye and ask the reasons why those lousy actions may be the only or best way that the person or you knew how to act, given their limited emotional growth, their emotional state, and interpersonal skills. So maybe, put on another pair of glasses and see what they may have done and why they may have done that. So put the name of the person, actions they did, and the reasons why they did that, why that hurt you, and why that they treated you so lousy, whether it's yourself or others. Working on this part of your journal, just write down the name of the person that you blame, whether yourself or someone else, and the actions that they did that you had feelings about. Actions they did that you had feelings about and the reasons why they did that. And the feelings that you had after they treated you that way, whether you felt hurt or abandoned. So play therapist with yourself and say, I know your lousy actions were the best that they could do at the time, given their limited emotional state, brain power, or personal skills. And now, forgive them. Say to yourself and write down, I forgive you for what you did. And then from this day onward, you take responsibility. If you hang on to and harbor or make home these uncomfortable feelings in any part of your life, and that you forgive them for what they did, and from this day onward, you'll take responsibility about these feelings and move on with your life. If you want more details about this kind of journal entrance about forgiving, just remember, put the name of the person you blame, the actions that they did that bother you, your feelings about those upsetting or distasteful actions, and the reason why those lousy actions may have been the only way that they knew how to act. Now, it's not like you're giving them an excuse about it, but you're trying to put in perspective that this is all they knew how to deal with life. However, you're not going to let them dump that on you anymore. You're going to cut the cord, let loose by forgiving people, because unforgiveness keeps you stuck and energetically and emotionally attached to those experiences. So if you want to heal yourself, write these down, cry about it if you need to, and then let it go. This will help you not live stuck, because these really are agony anchors that hold you back. And underneath is really a feelings of fear of change. They're really feelings of fear of change, I'd say. I've heard clients saying they're too busy or don't have time, and other self-pity statements about journaling. But now you can see there's so many benefits from it so far, and breaking free from excuses sets you free. And you don't always have to confront the person that hurt you. You can do it via journaling and let them go. Journaling really helps you find out what really matters in your life and in life in general. So it can help you discover what you really want in life and what really matters to you. Ask yourself also some heartfelt questions while journaling is important. So after you write in your journal, take some time on a regular basis to ask you those magic questions that I had introduced you earlier in the podcast. While it's good to journal about your day and feelings, take it a step further by exploring some of these magic questions. For example, what would I like to have in my life and what's important to me? After you release some of these feelings and get perspective and this last blaming agony anchor, focus on moving ahead. What do you want in your life right now? What's important to me? This question, along with other heartfelt questions I have written about in Bouncing Back from Difficult Times and Spontaneous Optimism. And you can hear it on a previous episode about creating your vision for your life. So this will help you move ahead into creating your vision for your life like Victoria did. Yeah, there were a lot of things that happened in her life. However, did she stay stuck there? No. This helped her move ahead and fine-tune what she wanted in her life, as well as evaluating what you're doing and not doing in your life is an important issue in journaling. Journaling is a concrete way, it's concrete evidence to show you where you're at in this present moment, in the here and now. It helps you focus on the here and now. And research has shown that journaling can reduce stress and worry. Journaling can help individuals create more positive feelings and outlook in life, and they can also improve your level of happiness and optimism in life. Let me review just a few more heartfelt questions so that it's fresh in your mind. So remember to journal about what we talked about already, and think about some of these heartfelt questions and write them down, and then occasionally review them in your journal. You must reflect on the heartfelt questions before you make choices about moving ahead in your life. I say, number one, write down what you've done in the last 6 months or a year in your life. And do this for different areas of your life, such as work, relationships, and importantly, self-care. Then ask yourself, what's missing in my life? Releasing that agony anchor, open up this void in your life. If it is, you have to think about what's missing and what you want so you can fill it with something more empowering and not get into a repeated pattern of self-blame or blaming other people. You have to fill it up with something positive. So ask yourself, what have I not done yet? What would you like to have in your life right now? So picture, imagine what you most want in your life. How would I feel in the next few years if I had not pursued my vision and goals? These are important questions. Releasing negativity and things that hold you back must be replaced by something more empowering. Otherwise, like weeds, those negative thoughts will start creeping back into your life. And this is not what you want. This is what you're striving for in my work with you in these podcasts. So don't be upset if you have negative thoughts or reactions at first. Let those initial negative thoughts and reactions be what I call inspirational dissatisfaction. Hard, it's a tongue twister, right? Inspirational dissatisfaction. Let that motivate you. That's really important. And some of the questions that were asking me about, oh, you're lucky, either this or that, you can look at it as, okay, I wrote that to Dr. Mary, but it was really my inspirational dissatisfaction that's going to help me now understand my reactions to those questions and to those stories. The likelihood of making goals and developing a new habit are based on questions that I just introduced you to or reintroduced you. And they must be asked before changing your daily routines, goal setting, and replacing those negative thoughts. So if you don't take the time to ask yourself those questions, you're just shooting arrows in the dark at your target and kind of leaving yourself open to those weeds of negativity growing back in your life. So let's get back to journaling. I have found that there are 6 ways that journaling can help you be more calm, mindful, and resilient. In my research for my self-improvement books and experiences as a psychologist, I found myself many benefits in journaling. Here are some that can help you and also convince you to take the plunge and start doing it. So journaling helps you manage stress and worry. That's number 1. And my clinical experience and research has shown that journaling can reduce the stress and the worry in your life, and it helps individuals create a more positive outlook and feelings in your life. This can help improve your level of happiness and optimism in your life. Overall, negative thoughts and emotions really can play havoc in your life, so making it difficult to find solutions to your problems and bounce back from life difficulties. So journaling can help you sort out your problems and discover solutions. This helps you gain a sense of inner control, which is a key to a sense of optimism. Research on optimism teaches us that optimistic feel more in control of their lives and find solutions to their problems. And I found that journaling really helps them learn to take responsibilities in their lives. Number 2, journaling creates a sense of mindfulness. And you've probably heard that time and time again about mindfulness, but journaling is one way to get there, and that just means, calming your mind. That just means like calming your mind. Journaling begins to help you focus on the here and now, or what I call presence. Being in the here and now is presence. When you journal and focus on what is happening today and the here and now in your feelings and reactions, it can help you be present. Just as you are here today in terms of life events and exploring your thoughts, feelings, and reactions, there's a huge benefit on journaling. We all know that clearing your mind and achieving a sense of presence and mindfulness has many benefits. So mindfulness here is observing your thoughts without judgment, keeping you focused on the present moment, kind of detaching from the past and the future, and just observing your thoughts and feelings now. And that is very helpful in calming your mind. That's my simple way of explaining all that fancy research. Another way that journaling helps, number 3, is to help you bounce back and heal after difficult times. Physically, journaling helps you improve your health. We discuss how journaling can reduce your levels of worry and stress, and that's important. It is really well documented that stress and worry can really lead to problems in your mental health and health. Many years ago, one of the first physicians to explore how mood impacts your health, I was introduced to and explored how moods impact health, is Carlton Simonton. Simonton was the medical director of the Cancer Counseling and Research Center. He authored the groundbreaking book at the time called Getting Well Again. I thought that was an amazing book, and it's an older book, but it was the most groundbreaking one at the time from Dr. Simonton. And in his Getting Well Again, he said the more a person feels emotionally upset or stressed, the more likely the person will become ill. The longer the person feels upset, combined with a pessimistic attitude, the more susceptible they were to major illnesses. Also, he wrote that a person's emotional stress level is determined by the person's attitude toward possible stressful future events. So negative events are not stressful themselves, but also the perspective on the events that may or may not happen makes them emotionally stressed out or not. So overall, Dr. Simonton and his findings illustrate the importance of learning and using techniques to boost your levels of happiness and optimism. And that's what I'm doing here on this podcast. Journaling is a way to create a sense of control over stress, problem solving, and reducing your worries and boosting your mood in life. And you'll find that doing so can vastly improve your health, or at least leave you less susceptible to illnesses. Journaling your way to creating a sense of control over stress, problem solving, and boosting your mood is very impactful here. You'll find yourself bouncing back from problems, staying healthier, and healing faster from illnesses if you take this approach. Benefit number 4, journaling creates a vision, helps you create a vision for your life and achieve your goals. As I said before, but a little more concisely here, journaling can help you find what really matters in life. It can also help you discover what you really want in your life, what really matters to you. Asking yourself some of those heartfelt questions while journaling is very important. While it is good to journal about your day and feelings, take it a step further by exploring what you are grateful for each day. Then, in that mode of gratefulness, ask yourself, what would I like to have in my life? What's important to me? These and other heartfelt questions I write about in my books, Bouncing Back from Difficult Times or Spontaneous Optimism, help you move ahead further into creating a vision for your life, as well as evaluating what you are doing or not doing to get there. Journaling is concrete evidence to show you where you're at in the present moment. Also, number 5, journaling helps you build confidence. As we discussed, self-compassion and gratitude is a major benefit from journaling. I have found that discovering the power of gratitude in my daily routine of journaling was healing in my life. It was. I discovered that. Writing about the events of the day, my reactions and feelings only took me so far. So yes, they were beneficial. But adding a section on gratitude for the day contributed to my mindfulness, spiritual growth, and precision in discovering my vision and my goals for my life, which also can help you find yours. In the process of journaling, you find yourself making progress as you review your entries and boost your mood and level of confidence. From this point, you'll feel confident in handling life's challenges and problems because you can always review those journal posts and entries that you did and get what I called a reference point, meaning that you can read them and say, hey, I figured it out before. I can do that again. That's a reference point that helps you get stronger to move on and move ahead in your life. Lastly, an important concept here is journaling helps you develop your sense of gratitude. Gratitude, as we said before, helps you focus on the here and now in the present moment. And that is a great way to end your writing for the day. It leaves you with good feelings and really relaxes you. In my experience, I believe that journaling and writing my journal, or what I call diary at that time, as well as observing my clients over the years benefits from their journals, creates a sense of hope and a sense of control over our lives. And I can't repeat that more and more until you get that. As I revealed in my Victoria story, I faced a lot of challenges and more in my life. And journaling was a tool that helped me grow and heal emotionally and spiritually. It helped me grow into a stronger person and grow in my sense of resilience and optimism. And professionally, as a psychologist and researcher for my self-help books, I discovered that writing in a journal helps create positive changes on both a physical and a psychological, emotional level. And self-compassion and gratitude is a major benefit from your writing and journaling. Just again, I found myself that discovering the power of gratitude in my daily routine of journaling was healing. I discovered that while writing about the events of the day and my reactions took me only so far, the benefit of adding that section on gratitude really contributed to my sense of peacefulness, mindfulness, and spiritual growth. Let me conclude here by saying I'm a member of the Psychological Association, the American Psychological Association. And as a psychologist, the tons of research on journaling reveal the advantages that range from just helping you reduce stress to propelling you forward in the pursuit of your personal and academic growth. APA in their research shows that journaling helps you improve your mental health, It helps you lift you out of depression. It encourages self-confidence. It helps boost your emotional intelligence. It helps you achieve your goals. It inspires creativity and boosts your memory, and enhances what they call critical thinking skills, which is problem-solving skills. So, according to all these experts, the best way to reap the benefits of journaling is to engage in it consistently. So, at least 2 to 3 times per week as a start, and eventually as a daily habit. Over time, you'll find that journaling leads you to a greater sense of personal insights about your current relationships, problems, stressors, and your level of coping skills. So let me know how this lands for you, and if you need any help with this. Let me know if this lesson I'm teaching with you makes sense for you. So I appreciate your questions you had about it, and I invite any other questions you may have about it. So feel free to email me directly at Dr. Mercer. That's DRMERCER @positivelifeanswers.com. And you can also feel free to email me your questions and comments using the Contact Us form on my Positive Life Answers website, and I'll respond to your questions and comments. If you're stuck and need more help on this topic of journaling and the benefits from it, or you feel like you're stuck in an agony anger, you can contact me about my unique, patented intensive coaching sessions. So please email me directly or through the Contact Us form regarding intensive coaching sessions, and or also request to speak at your organization or conferences. Speaking about positive life answers and optimism is a really important topic, and lately creating optimism in the workplace has been a frequently requested topic. So let me know if I can help you in your organization in your next meeting. For these intensive life coaching sessions, or even to give you a speech, we can do it in person or on a video call such as Zoom. Let me know if you're ready to take a leap into your path to changing or improving your life. I'm here for you. If you've been listening to my podcast, please this month leave your 5-star rating and comments on the podcast app that you're using. Typically, podcast apps such as Apple or Spotify allow people to give a rating, and I think even iHeartRadio. Not all podcast platforms allow for a rating, so check your platform that you're using. If it's Apple, Spotify, or iHeartRadio, please leave me a positive rating. Give me that good 5-star rating and check the ones you're using. I greatly appreciate that. Give me your ratings, your 5-star ratings, and a positive comment so we can help grow the show. I appreciate it. If you have any questions about it, please just contact me. A note to my listeners, this podcast aims to provide useful information to my listeners. It's published with the understanding that your host, Dr. Marianne Mercer, is not engaged in rendering professional counseling or therapy through the contents and comments of this podcast. If you find that you need professional services, such as counseling, psychotherapy, or medical advice, then the listener, you are totally responsible for seeking the services of a competent professional. So contact your local psychological association or your primary care doctor for a referral in your area. So thank you for listening. I can barely wait to hear about how journaling is going to help improve your life, as well as the other tips about creating optimism in your life. So make it a fantastic week. I look forward to seeing you again. Next week, I'll be interviewed on a major podcast hosted by someone, and I'll share that with you. And I also share the link for listening to that podcast episode. So you might see a bump in my regular Tuesdays podcasts into a different day next week, but this will be a great episode to listen to. So I'll be in touch with you, so make it a fantastic week. Positively, Dr. Mary.